The Jewish Channel's Week in Review. The Olympics, the White House press briefing room, the Republican candidate in Israel, courage captured on film, hot new cuisine at a hot new location. It's the Jewish news that's changing your world right now on this episode of the Week in Review. Hello, and welcome to the Jewish Channel's Week in Review. I'm Stephen I. Weiss. Israel's been all over U.S. and international headlines this week at the Olympics, at the White House, and in the travels of Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney. At the Olympics, gymnast Ali Reisman wowed spectators with a floor exercise to the tune of Hava Nagila. And her routine helped make Jewish parenting a major topic of discussion as the Reismans' reactions to their daughter's performance went viral. Seemingly willing her to move with their own movements and repeatedly shouting, "Stick it," they quickly joined their daughter as fan favorites. But it was staying silent that made a lot of news during the opening ceremonies. Host Bob Costas held a 5-second moment of silence as the Israeli team appeared on screen, after explaining that many had called for a moment of silence to memorialize the 40th anniversary of the killing of 11 Israelis during the 1972 Munich Olympics at the hands of members of the Black September terrorist group. Meanwhile, White House spokesperson Jay Carney generated controversy for what he wouldn't say about Israel when asked about the capital of the Jewish state during a press briefing.
What city does this administration consider to be the capital of Israel, Jerusalem or Tel Aviv?
I haven't had that question in a while. Our position has not changed, Connie. Can we...
What's the capital?
You know our position.
I don't.
Chris.
No, she doesn't know. She doesn't know. That's why she asked.
She does know.
I don't.
She does not know. She just said she doesn't know. I don't know.
Come on, that's what I call on Christy. Go ahead.
It's the kind of clip that's perfect for a political attack ad, and within days, the Republican Jewish Coalition had an ad out comparing the Carney briefing with two statements that President Barack Obama made while still a candidate for president back in 2008.
Jerusalem will remain the capital of Israel, and it must remain undivided.
The fact is that Jerusalem is Israel's capital.
Of course, President Obama isn't the first presidential candidate to make statements about Jerusalem prior to getting elected and then act differently while in office. Israel declared Jerusalem as its capital with a near-unanimous vote in the Knesset back in 1950. The United States at the time established its embassy in Tel Aviv, in part as a message to Israel that it would not recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, as the hope in the U.S. and the United Nations at the time was for Jerusalem to be an international city. Since then, several presidential candidates have said they'd either recognize Jerusalem as an undivided capital or move the embassy to Jerusalem. Once in office, no president has done so. And presidents have actively avoided moving the embassy since 1995, when Congress passed a law that required the embassy to be moved to Jerusalem, but allowed presidents to postpone doing so in 6-month intervals for reasons of national security. Every 6-month period since then, under Presidents Clinton, Bush, and Obama, has seen an exercise of that option for postponement. And now another presidential candidate is promising that move. Republican candidate Mitt Romney, visiting Israel this past week, reiterated a promise to move the embassy to Jerusalem and explicitly referred to Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Moving on, the unconventional in the Jewish world has increasingly been about exploring new ideas in the realm of cuisine. And Meredith Gansman has some news about a restaurant that's turning heads.
New York has no shortage of kosher restaurants, so if you're going to open a new one in Manhattan's downtown Soho neighborhood, you have to stand out. And that's just what these two first-time restaurateurs did. So what's on the menu, guys? I'm hungry. New Yorkers expect the most innovative and original cuisine from the restaurant scene. What may come as a surprise is that now you can find such trendy, not to mention delicious dishes at New York's newest kosher eatery, Jezebel.
We didn't want to be a kosher-style, Katz, deli-type restaurant.
Filling a void in the market for kosher diners with a taste for the stylish downtown scene, Jezebel owners Henry Stimler and Menachem Sinderhovich drew from their traditional Jewish upbringing and their involvement in New York's nightlife scene to update conventional kosher cuisine.
We have a Jewish Italian wedding soup, which we love. Italian wedding soup. That's a pizza bagel. We also wanted to change the fact that Jewish people think they have to have a steak. They have to have steak or sushi. And you look at all the restaurants. And they're great restaurants. There are great kosher restaurants out there. Don't get me wrong. We're not belittling anybody's restaurants. They're all wonderful. But we wanted to be somewhat different.
But conceptualizing a contemporary kosher cuisine provides challenges.
Cooking kosher is not necessarily impossible. It's basically a box. These are certain things outside of the box you can't do, and anything inside the box, it's free game. A James Beard Award winner like Bradford is having a lot of fun with it.
We never looked at it from a restrictive point of view, like, oh no, we don't have butter, what are we going to do? Or, you know, we can't have this or we can't have that. It was like, let's embrace what we can use and build from that.
To see how Jezebel's food and decor are updating Jewish culture, tune into the full broadcast version of the Week in Review.
Thank you, Meredith. Christian Needon reports on a new film that examines the nature of Jewish courage.
At a young age, Leo Zisman was persecuted for being a Jew, but he managed to survive the Holocaust behind the barbed wire of Auschwitz, risking his life to maintain his religious observance through his incarceration. A new documentary, The Lion of Judah, follows Zisman on a trip back to the site of his captivity as he leads a Jewish youth tour of Poland and Auschwitz. The film begins a week-long run at Manhattan's Quad Cinema on August 10th, and director Matt Mindell explained what makes Zisman's tale of survival so special.
He's unique because he didn't give up his faith. You know, you think about the Holocaust and you think, oh God, like, you know, you don't have any religious obligation to keep kosher, to do any of the mitzvahs. Like, you know, when it comes to death, like, you can wipe away all the, you know, mitzvahs, 100%. But he was a force, and he snuck his pair of tefillin into the camps.
Now, what am I going to do at Phil, you know? You know, of course, to pray, it takes half an hour. But over there, it takes 5 minutes. You say certain things and that. And there were so many people, nobody had any tefillin. So it was, I told you, in the summertime. We came in about July, August, was it then? It was easier outside in the yard to do a little praying because everyone at the barracks, they came out, so it was full of people. And if you put on the corner, if the German wouldn't spot you, you know. So I used to go outside and pray. And then a man, a grown-up man, saw me, and he told the big rabbi, he said, guess what? I saw a young boy that they had to film. Oh, can I borrow it? I said, why not? As long as you give it back to me.
Zisman recalled his first trip back to Auschwitz in 2005.
It was very, very difficult for me. I cried more than I spoke. It was a very organized trip. There must have been between 12 and 15,000 youth. It was so many people over there, with big loudspeakers. Thank God it was nice, the weather was nice. And I was in front and I spoke a little bit, not much, at that time I just started. And that was the first time.
To hear more of Leo Zisman's extraordinary story of survival and about the new documentary The Lion of Judah, opening August 10th at Quad Cinema in Manhattan, please tune into the full broadcast edition of the Week in Review.
Thank you, Christian. That's all for this week from all of us here at the Jewish Channel. Be well. The Jewish Channel is available on cable. Time Warner Cable Channel 528, IO Optimum Channel 291, RCN Channel 268, Bright House Channel 330, Verizon Fios Channel 900, Cox Channel 1, Frontier Communications, and now on Comcast Cable in the on-demand menu under Premium Channels. For more information, visit tjctv.com.